excited. This is season 2, episode 1, designated report behind the lens. My name is Johnell, and I'm here with a super talented Natasha. Tasha, what are we going with today?
I go by Tasha.
Tasha Swanson.
No one can hear Tasha.
Okay. I got your email and I was like, Natasha, let me just make sure I'm calling her the right thing. How's everything? Good morning, good afternoon. I think it's 12 o'clock. Thanks for sitting down with me. How are you? What's going on?
I'm doing well. It's been a long last year.
Yeah,
But I'm doing a lot better than last year, so I'm hoping it stays that way.
I hear you. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Minnesota,
Okay.
but I moved to North Carolina when I was little, so kind of from here as well.
So for all intents and purposes, you're North Carolina born and raised type of thing.
I don't like to say that, but I mean I was raised.
Okay.
I was raised here. I wasn't born here, so.
Gotcha.
We can go.
Gotcha. And how old are you? If you don't mind me asking. 24.
No, you're
fine.
Okay.
Okay. So I reached out to you recently. I've been following you for a little bit on Instagram and big fan of your work. So I really just wanted to sit down and be able to kind of chop it up with you, see how you got to where you got to, where you plan on going. And, I feel like everybody's journey in general, but photography journey is unique and special in its own. So how did you first get into photography?
So I've always wanted to be a photographer ever since I was little.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of something I really stuck with. I think the person that really got me into photography when I was little was my grandmother. She was always had a camera on her and stuff. So she always let me take pictures when I was able to. So that's kind of where I got the love of photography from.
Sure.
My dad took photos too, so he's kind of the artsy person as well. But I never knew, I always knew I wanted to be a photographer, but I never knew what type of photography I wanted to do.
Sure.
And I wasn't, my whole family is sports fanatics. I grew up watching sports. My brother played sports. Yeah. So I played sports as well. So in high school, that was when I kind of connected my love for photography and sports together. And I was like, I want to be a sports photographer. That's so awesome. I did all the yearbook photos for my high school. And then I went to college for photography as well. So that's kind of where it all started.
So you went to school for photography, as in you have a degree in photography?
Mm-hmm. I have a bachelor's degree in digital photography.
That's freaking awesome. Where'd you go to school?
The Art Institute at Raleigh-Durham.
Okay, nice. So right now, if I were to say, we're going out to shoot a basketball game or something like that, what's your current or your favorite camera setup, body and lens?
So I don't have much of equipment, but I mean, I do what I got.
Yeah.
So right now I have a Sony A9, and probably my favorite lens to shoot any sports is a 70-200 2.8.
Yeah.
I mean, it works for literally anything. So it's my favorite thing to have.
And when you say that you don't have a lot of equipment, I feel you on that, because I have a Nikon D3400, which is, for all intents, it's a beginner camera. But I've put in the money to get some additional lenses. And the thing that I've heard on numerous occasions is just, it's not so much the body, but what you put in front of it, like the glass in front of it, all your lenses. So that's kind of what I've been working with, and it's worked out pretty well, I guess. But I love the way the Sony shoot. I love the way, I don't know, there's something about a Sony. I've gotten my hands on them a couple of times. Um, what's that?
Especially mirrorless.
Yes, yes,
Mirrorless
yes,
in game.
yes. Did you experiment with any other bodies or any other brands?
So I started off with a Canon T3 Rebel,
Yep,
the most basic beginner camera there
yep.
is. But, I mean, that did me well in high school, and then in college, I got one of my friends sold me a Canon 7D for pretty cheap, so I couldn't really say no. And
Yep.
and then that broke on me in 2019. Like the autofocus button stopped working. It's still able to take photos, but with sports, taking photos you can't
Absolutely.
do without autofocus. So I was kind of like, I was in the middle of, because I do a lot of freelance with. That was the year that I started doing freelance with UNC football. So I was kind of in the middle of the season, and I was like, I need a camera. So I got connections with some guy that works for Sony at Best Buy, and he gave me a discount and stuff on a Sony. So I was like, I can't say no to it.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, but that's not. I mean, because I always been with Canon.
Yep.
I mean, I worked with Nikons because Duke and UNC have Nikons, so I'd always use their cameras as well.
Yep.
But my dream camera is a Canon 1DX Mark
Yes.
II.
Yes.
So I was like, I don't want to spend money on another Canon unless it's the Mark II, the DX, the 1DX. So I was like, might as well just get a Sony for cheap and work with it.
Yeah. And then eventually you'll get there.
Oh yeah.
And that's a perfect segue. Because when I look at your Instagram feed, it's almost exclusively North Carolina sports. There's a lot of UNC, there's Duke. I see that you're heavy on like the high school circuit. How'd you get involved shooting with them? Was it through your program at school? Did you have to apply to get credentials or anything like that? How did that work?
So in high school, I was the only person, not high school, in college, I was the only person that did sports photography.
Uh-huh.
Like everybody was doing just like modeling and magazine kind of stuff. Like,
yeah.
And I wasn't really into it. So I didn't really have like someone to look up to in college, or even my professors never shot sports before, so they couldn't really help me with that. That was kind of like my con of going to college, because I pretty much taught myself how to perfect my craft, really.
Mm-hmm.
So everything I got connections with, everybody that I got connections with, was because of me, because I went out on a limb and emailed all these people asking if I can get credentials to games or whatever, willing to help them if they needed my photos. And so that was when I got connected with Duke, the team photographer. He gave me credentials to like all the Olympic sports, which was soccer, lacrosse, and track, and like the lower sports, which I was fine with shooting. I really didn't care.
Sure.
And then me and him kind of grew a relationship together. Like we got really close, and he was able to really help me in my craft and stuff. So he was like really one of my big mentors. So that's kind of how I got connected with Duke. And then I started doing stuff with their basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
So usually, if pre-COVID, I was doing all their edits during their basketball games for home games. So I did all the in-game edits.
Yeah.
And then with Duke was how I got connections with UNC. That's how I met the team photographer for UNC and got connected with them. So, and then with the high school stuff, so I do a lot of work with it's called Hoop State Network. So I don't know if you've heard of them.
Yep.
Okay. So I I'm really close with all the guys that do their work. Webb is one of the guys that brought me on last 2019 December
Mm-hmm.
when they did the Johnell holiday um, basketball tournament. So that's kind of how I got connected with them.
Nice, nice. And is that the only? Are you working for them or are you working with them? And is there a difference? I guess. Like, are you?
I kind of do. So I kind of do both. I kind of do some freelance before them, and then sometimes. So we just brought up this new thing called Her Hoop State. So
Yep.
it's for all the girl hoopers, and we're trying to expand it, but right now it's all in North Carolina. So I'm in charge of all the photography for Her Hoop State.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and then we do all their. So me and some other two other people, we run the social media accounts, the Instagram and Twitter. So.
And that you said that's primarily, or it's only North Carolina currently, right?
Currently, yes. Yeah.
So is it just, how are you getting your footage? Is it the three of you going to the different games, traveling around the state to get footage, or is it coming in from other people?
So right now we're only doing, we're trying to get connections into the games, but right now we're only doing so we've done 2 like interview kind of things, YouTube videos of like 2 of the top girls that we have in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And now we're doing, we just did our first open run for the girls last week, and we have one coming up next week. So it's kind of a fresh start, but we're making it come up on it. So
yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm sure things have changed with COVID and all of that. If you're going to shoot a game, typical game day, what's your pregame prep look like? And if there is a difference between pre-COVID and now, how has it changed in what you can and can't do or how you're shooting?
So there's not much of probably the biggest thing that's changed is like trying to get connections to go to a game or trying to get approved to go to a game, because there's a lot of protocols they have to go through, and
sure,
not a lot of people are able to be in the arena or the gym. That's probably the only thing that's changed. So a basic pre-game would, I really don't do anything like crazy. Because usually sometimes recently I've had to drive to Charlotte, which is like a 2-hour drive. So my pre-game is driving to the game. Not big of a thing, but.
So is it, do you go in with the mindset of, I need to capture a specific player, or are you just going in thinking, I'm trying to get the best shots I can at this game?
So usually it depends on if I'm just shooting that one player, because a lot of athletes, they'll hire me to come to their games and take photos for them.
Yeah.
I mean, usually I'll take photos of other people as well, just in case if they ask. Like, I mean, I got it, so that's extra money as well. So, but, and then if a team hires me to do something, I want to make sure I'm getting every player a photo, and probably not even just that, but like the best photos as well. Things that they can use for graphics or for social media or for different things, announcements and stuff. So that, and then the best photos, the best action photos, the best plays.
Sure.
I like to get coach photos as well, so they can have their own photos.
Are you doing only photos, or do you do any video?
So not really into the video stuff. I mean, I'm capable of doing it. it's just such a big time consuming thing that I don't want to get it myself into.
Yeah.
Um, Unless I really need to, or someone really wants me to do it, I'll do it. Like I've done mixtapes and stuff for athletes, but it's so stressful on me, so I don't want to put that stress on
Yeah.
me.
I hear you. I hear you. Um, you mentioned earlier that you have shot for, you said UNC football, and you've done some of the other college sports. Are you primarily shooting basketball right now?
Right now, basketball is pretty much my life right now. Yeah, because
Okay.
football last season, there was pretty much, it was kind of on the edge of what was gonna happen.
Hmm.
UNC, they were only letting pretty much the students that worked for UNC or people that were employed by UNC. So that was the same for Duke as well. So
Yeah. Yeah. We ran into a similar issue. We were trying to get credentialed to shoot at UConn. Cause like I said, I'm based out of Connecticut, so UConn's a couple hours away as well. Um,
mm,
but yeah, they told us the same thing. It was only going to be, staff or students of UConn that are going to be allowed at games.
yeah,
And it sucks a little bit, but at the same time, you understand it's player and
yeah,
coach
yeah.
safety, and you know,
Mhm.
so it kind of is what it is. And hopefully, um, through this year into next year, we can kind of get back to normal, right?
Well, I hope so because I miss football.
Yeah, yeah.
Football is my number one sport that I want to shoot. Like it's my favorite sport. So
Really?
it
To
is.
shoot or like to watch
Both.
or both?
Both.
Okay. So yeah,
My favorite sport.
we definitely need to get football back up and going so that we can get you out there.
No.
Um, did you did you play? You said that you played sports growing up, right? What
Yeah.
sports did you play?
So I played volleyball most of my life. All 4 years of college as well.
Oh wow.
I mean, not college, high school. I didn't play sports in college.
Okay.
Um, I, I stopped that once I got to college. But I played volleyball. I did track, and then I played soccer as well.
Okay.
So
So you didn't get to play, or you didn't play basketball or anything like that. Have you been able to pull any of your experiences from volleyball or soccer or anything like that that help you when you're shooting basketball or shooting football even?
not really, because volleyball is like a complete different sport and it's less rules than any other sport, pretty
Hmm.
much. Um, I mean, not really, no.
So how did your shooting basketball games? I'm assuming you understood the game though, right?
Oh yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
you were able to kind of you could go into a game and understand um like where players are like anticipating plays and things like that.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. That makes sense that you understood the game prior to getting into
Oh, yeah.
shooting it. Okay.
I mean, I've always been a big sports fanatic, so
Yeah.
I know the rules of the plays and the players' positions and all that.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Um do you do any other shooting aside from sports?
So I do stuff on the side like families and portraits, and I just did a newborn baby photo shoot last
How,
week, so that was fun. Um, yeah, I do stuff like that on the side. I mean, you gotta make your money where it is, so.
yeah. It not your favorite though, right? You would prefer.
No, I mean, I mean, I don't prefer it, but I mean, I like doing it, but it's not my thing that I want to just drop all sports and do family portraits for the rest of my life or the rest of my career.
I got you.
No.
Um, so there's a couple questions that I ask everybody, and I'm very interested to hear um, everybody's thoughts and thought processes. Um, what do you enjoy most about the whole photography process? It could be the actual taking of the photos, it could be editing, it could be interacting with players and coaches and things like that. Um, what do you love most about the whole process?
So I think I love the most is the people that you meet along the way. Not even just like athletes. Like I've met so many big time athletes and big time people during events. But not even those people, like the people that you work with. Like I've met so many talented people while
Absolutely.
working in sports. And people that have like mentored me or people that look up to me as well, which is kind of like I've never thought of someone looking up to me or coming to me for questions or advice or just to tell me how much that I inspire them to do something. So it's people that I love the most about this job, because I've met some of my like best friends working.
Gotcha.
I think
That's incredible. So on the flip side, what do you dislike most about the entire photography process?
I don't think there's anything I dislike. Like
Really?
I love I mean, probably the big thing that I dislike is um I mean it's not really a dislike, but it's a challenge being a woman working in sports. You get so many people trying to tell you what to do or tell you you
I
can't do
believe
this,
that.
you can't do that. That's probably it's not like a dislike, it's a big challenge, but I've tried to figure out my way around it
Yep.
and try to make a negative out of a I mean make a positive out of negative. So
Makes sense. Yeah, and I can absolutely see that being the case, honestly. Um, okay, so we touched briefly on 2020, and it brought us COVID. It brought us um, like peak social and racial injustice and protests and things like that. Um, you were on the front lines, like when all the protests and things were going on. Um, how did how did you how'd you like that? How, like, being out there with the people, supporting, documenting? What were your thoughts and feelings at the time?
oh man, that's like my whole mind was blown away by seeing people come together no matter the color of your skin, no matter what you because we had this whole big thing with the presidential thing, like no matter who you supported, everybody was together on the front line. They didn't care what other people were saying back to them, like cars passing by and stuff.
Yeah.
And I felt like because I know a lot of people were getting crap for going to protest and taking their camera with them. So like I kind of felt some point like that was my way of pretty much speaking my mind and speaking how I felt about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of my way of fighting back against what was going on in the world. I mean, it kind of I had a lot of time to like sit down and think about it while I was editing photos and stuff. My whole it it was there's not even words to really describe how I felt during those moments.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of it depends on because I went to I think I went to three protests. And the last one I went to, that was when the SWAT team got involved and everything. But like the ending of it was when the whole SWAT team like kneeled with us. Like,
Gotcha.
and it was kind of crazy to experience and see with your own eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pictures that I saw, and I'm sure you have a bunch more, but the ones that you posted on Instagram were powerful. Just you can see like and feel the frustration and anger and like sadness that all these people were exuding because of everything that was going on. Um, so it, on the one hand, I do understand the people that are like, you're like capitalizing off of the protest or whatever by bringing your camera. Um, but at the same time, I'm like, you're documenting history, like, hopefully we don't go through something like that again. But yeah, the photos that you posted were incredible. So I absolutely wanted to kind of get your thought process and your feelings on that, because there's a lot in those photos that I saw.
And a lot of people told me like I didn't want to get like a lot of praise off of them, because that's not my way to. I don't know how to put it in words, but and I heard a quote before, like someone, I don't know where I heard it from, but like someone was like, a lot of people like bring weapons to these protests or whatever, and like my weapon of choice was my camera.
I like that, yeah.
And then not only was I able to document that, but I was able to tell a story with it as well, showing because a lot of media doesn't show the good that was going on during these protests.
Absolutely.
I was able to show the good. And I don't think I even documented any bad things that happened, because there really wasn't that much bad things that happened. So I was able to show the good that happened that the media that's not going to show. So I was able to tell a story and show people that weren't able to go to protest what was going on, that are only just seeing things off of the media that's media showing. So
yes,
kind of how I see it.
That's awesome. So aside from COVID, aside from the protests, you too had some things that you dealt with in 2020. I want to preface this by saying I did ask you beforehand. I don't want anybody thinking I'm like putting you on the spot or anything like that, but you had brain surgery last year. What happened? How are you feeling? How are you diagnosed? What happened?
Okay, so since I was 14, I've lived with migraines every single day. Wake up with them, go to sleep with them, live with them. I've been to so many doctors since I was 14, so many scans, medication that never worked. And it wasn't until January of last year, pretty much about a year ago, I was diagnosed with Chiari malformation, which is a chronic illness. Okay. So there's no cure for it. It's where your brain tissue is extended to your spinal cord. Okay. So it's causing a lot of pressure in your brain. So not only migraines, you get all other symptoms as well, like hard time swallowing. They also said, someone told me that because I lost my voice last February. So like I've lived almost 1 year with no voice, pretty much.
Jeez.
But they said that Chiari malformation can cause you to like lose your voice and for it to be hoarse as well. So that's kind of the downfall of it all. But so January I was diagnosed with it. I made the decision to get brain surgery and remove that brain tissue and make more space for take more pressure off my brain.
Sure.
I made that decision in May to get brain surgery in June, so I went through it. Yeah.
And how are you feeling now?
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't remember the last time I had a migraine, so.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Congrats, honestly. Is it something that you like? Are you going to have to keep on? What's the process now?
So I have to pretty much keep track on it because that brain tissue can always extend back into my spinal cord. And I have it's called a duro patch on my skull. So part of my skull is gone right now.
Oh wow.
So that duro patch is like holding everything in. It should be healed, but I still got to take it lightly, really, and keep a track on it. Keep up with my doctors and stuff like that. So
That's incredible. Well, I'm glad you're
Pretty
feeling
crazy.
better. Yeah, I'm glad you're.
Thank you.
Firstly, I'm glad that after all this time they were able to figure out what it was. And like I said, I'm glad that you're feeling better. Um, like I said at the beginning, I don't know how long I've been following you, but um, I mean, it's been at least a year. But I remember you posting something on your story. I think it was on your story, and I think you had just had surgery, and
Oh,
I just shot you a message, and I was like, what the hell's going on? Like thoughts and prayers, and you were just like, like thank you so much, yada yada yada. And I think I reached out maybe a month later, just like, hey, how you doing? And you just seemed so upbeat about everything that was going on, and I mean, I guess that's just a testament to your strength and the fact that you could respond to a relative stranger and still be so upbeat, so cheerful about everything is incredible. So again, congrats. I hope you stay healthy, because I couldn't imagine, honestly. It like the thought of everything kind of scares me. So the fact that you've been through it and you're doing well, I love it.
thank you. I mean, it's kind of because everybody's like, what made you decide to? Because really, I could have waited it out, and because I mean, my symptoms were really horrible, but I mean, I could have waited it out and stuff. And I made the because of COVID, like I had to go to all my appointments. My neurosurgeon had to meet him by myself,
Yeah.
and pretty much make that decision by myself. And I kind of feel like if I put more thought into it, if I don't just say no, if I say yes right now, like I won't put more thought into it. I won't think like the pros and cons of it.
Yeah.
So I kind of like made the decision like right off the bat, like let's do it, let's get it over with. Like I don't want
Yeah.
to do this crap anymore. So
I hear you. I hear you.
yeah.
Well, be good, be healthy. Let's keep things going. We want more content from you, more photos, more everything. So happy to hear that, sincerely. Um, you mentioned earlier, not necessarily a dislike, but something that's difficult is being a woman in sports. And definitely one of the things that I've realized since starting this page, Behind the Lens, just over a year ago, is just how many women there are in sports, whether it's photography, videography, social media. There's so much going on behind the scenes that I feel like the average person wouldn't correlate that to being, that's
Oh yeah.
a woman doing a job that you're consuming. And so um I'm assuming that while it's been difficult, you definitely still have a support group around you, people that you work with, people that you met, that absolutely 100% support you and what you're doing, correct?
Correct.
And how have they helped you get to the point that you are now?
So there's so many people that that support me with what I do. Always giving me feedback or helping me like get a step higher than where I am. Always looking out for me. Pretty much the people that really have been there for me through it all is the Hoop State Network people, the guys that work there. They're always looking out for me. They're always wanting me to be a part of what they're doing. Them and then the Duke photographer Reagan. He's always been there ever since I met him. Like he's he's really helped me push myself,
Mm-hmm.
and he's taught me a lot as well. Um, I don't I don't know anybody else to be honest. I mean, I have a lot of supporters online as well, like people I've
Yeah.
never met before that support me. Um, that really, I don't think they really know like how much their support has pushed me to be better, or to push me to do another photo shoot, or to
Yeah.
get myself out of bed pretty much, really. Yeah.
And I'm assuming that the people that are in your corner, they're not a bunch of yes men and yes women. They are there to, they have your best interest at hand. So they're going to tell you if you took a bad photo, or if they can see that you can do more. Um, eh, am I right in assuming that it's not just a, hey, we like you, you're doing a great job. It's, hey, Tasha, like, you could be doing more, or I saw you do this, and what if you tried this? um, is there a lot of coaching? Is there a lot of growth with everybody that's in your circle?
Yeah. So a lot of people that are in my circle, they are always pushing me to be better. Some people see my how do you say it? I don't know how to say it. They see that I can be more successful in what I'm doing.
Sure.
They see that I'm capable of doing something that maybe I don't think I'm capable of doing.
Yep.
So they're always like pushing me to do better. I mean, I have an amazing support group, amazing. It's not big of a circle, but it's decent, and does its
Yeah.
work. So
So, um, do you have a singular favorite photo that you've taken?
hmm, I don't think I can narrow it down to one.
There's no
Okay.
picture. There's no picture that sticks out in your mind, where when you look at it, it immediately brings you back to a moment, or like a big play, or anything like that.
Um, Probably my one thing is the photo that I captured of J. Cole and Dennis Smith Jr. at the protest. That one, and then there's a couple. I'm trying to think. There's a photo that I took of Trey Jones and his mother during Countdown to Craziness
Yep.
in 2019, I believe it was. And it's kind of like you can see their backs of them, but you can also see like all the blue lights from the audience as well. So it's kind of like, I like how they're like looking out into the crowd.
That's
And
dope.
Trey Jones loved his mother, so his mother's always there
Yeah.
while he was at Duke. So kind of a good memory of them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Um, what's the what's the biggest or most important thing that you've learned from photography? Um, in other words, is there something that you've learned in your early photography career that you can or do apply to other areas in your life?
So when I was younger, starting off with this photography stuff, like I always thought like failing was something I was really afraid of. Like I thought
Sure.
failing was horrible.
Yeah.
Like I was literally afraid to fail at what I did. Um, so that kind of like grew on me. Like through this whole process, I've failed so many times.
Yes.
And those failures had always came up with a positive as well. So I was able to learn from that failing. So I think that's kind of something I've learned. Like failing is okay. Doing something wrong is okay, but you can always turn back on it and make it a positive and learn from it and grow from it as well. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, and what are your ultimate aspirations? Do you want to continue working with, the Hoops Network? Is it that you want to grow the women's side of it? Do you want to own your own business or company? What are your ultimate goals with your photography?
my dream job is working with NFL.
Yes.
That's always been my dream job. But I also want to inspire other women and kind of pave the way for other women to do the same.
Yep.
Not only to work in the NFL or to work in the big leagues, but to make a name for themselves and to follow their dreams and do what they're wanting to do. Not only for women, but like for the younger generation as well. Kind of help them get up to the next level as well. So
Nice.
kind of
And speaking of the NFL, I don't want to.
mm.
I'm gonna come back to that. But speaking of the NFL, you just posted on your story. It's Championship Sunday. I picked the Packers to beat the Bucks today. Is that because of your Minnesota roots? You're a
Yes.
Vikings fan? That's
I can
unfortunate.
never root for Packers. Can't do it.
That's unfortunate because the Packers are going to the Super Bowl.
I think Tom Brady can do it.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Brady won, but I feel like there's something special going on in Green Bay this year.
Can't see it. Don't see it.
So we're kind of wrapping up here. I just have a few more questions for you. Do you have a working relationship with any of the players? I know that you said that occasionally you'll have players reach out to you to come shoot their games. Do you have like repeat athletes, repeat clients, or anything like that? If you're able to speak on it, I'm not sure.
So I mean, I've worked with several athletes and teams and companies. I've done a lot recently. I've done a lot with high school teams because it's really what's the only thing that I'm able to get into.
Yeah.
So I've done a lot of work recently with this team called Victory Christian. They're in Charlotte. They're probably really one of the best high school teams in North Carolina.
Okay.
They're making their way up. They're proving other people wrong. And I'm kind of like grown to know the players and the coaches and kind of connected with them. Not only them, there's a couple. I'm really close with some college players as well. I mean, I worked with them when they were in high school. I haven't done work with them since I got to college, but
gotcha.
Some people from NC State. Some of their basketball players I've worked with, and then Josh Hall. He's with Thunder right now, Oakland Thunder. I've done work with him in high school.
Okay. And when you've worked with some of these players over the years, like you said, in high school and moving up, do you find that you get, I don't know if better is the right word, but better content or more, like, you get more personality out of them when you've kind of worked with them for a while and you build that rapport? They kind of let you win a little bit closer than just a random person at the game taking pictures?
I think once they start to like trust me and know that I'm there for their own good, there to capture their good moments and their bad. I mean, every athlete has a bad moment, but
absolutely.
But I don't like take that offensive towards them or like show other people like talk crap about them or stuff like that.
Of course.
Kind of growing a relationship with every athlete that you work with is kind of important to kind of allow them to let you in and let you capture them doing what they love to do the most. Kind of grows a relationship to not only sports but other events as well if they need those captures as well. So
yeah, nice. If you could photograph anybody, this doesn't have to be sports related, it could be anybody, dead or alive, who would that person be?
Kevin Garnett.
Without hesitation, the what do you? Yeah, I mean KG. I love KG. Um,
He's my favorite athlete. So
okay. Would you want to, when you say KG, would you want to shoot him playing basketball, or more of like a lifestyle type of thing? Like he's, out doing something or like promoting a product, kind of like behind the scenes, or what would you want to shoot, or just him in general?
I think I would want to do like more lifestyle portraits of him, kind of him at maybe just some random basketball court that he's always grown up on or something like that.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. And I like the fact that you had no hesitation. Like you've thought about this before.
Well, I've always thought of it.
um,
I love everything.
so that's really all I have for you. Again, I appreciate you taking the time. I know we had the mix up yesterday, but I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me. I'm excited to see where you go. Again, in a relatively short amount of time, at least from what I've seen, like you're extremely talented first and foremost, but you seem to be very driven in getting to that next level. So I'm definitely excited to see what 2021 and beyond has in store for you. Is there anything that you want to add? Is there anything you want to plug? I'll be sure, I'll have your Instagram and everything below. But is there anything else you want to let people know?
Well, I don't think so. Just keep going, keep doing you.
Perfect. Tasha, thank you again. I appreciate your time. Hopefully we'll be able to sit down again at some point. But to a better 2021, stay healthy, more success, more life. And like I said, we'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I appreciate you.
Of course.